Hi everyone, it's Microwave Sam with another classic tutorial. In this video, I'll show you how to install Bash on Windows 10 before the Windows 10 anniversary update comes along on August 2, 2016. On March 30, 2016, Microsoft announced a major update that would allow users to run Bash on Windows 10 natively. I've always used a program called Cygwin for my Unix terminal on Windows because Windows never really had a Unix terminal like Mac and Linux. Here are the table of contents of the video. These are the steps that I will take to get Bash on Windows 10. Now today is July 24, 2016. The update that apparently will have Bash will come for regular users on August 2, 2016. But in the meanwhile, I want to test this out. So I will get the Insider Preview build to get Bash on Windows 10. And I'll show you how to get Insider Preview builds for future reference. The first step is to check this PC. We will search this PC on the search box and right-click Properties. The first requirement of getting Bash on Windows 10 is that you need a 64-bit operating system. Your system type needs to be 64-bit. After we have confirmed that our system type is 64-bit, we move on to the second step. We hit the Start button at the bottom left. We find Settings button, which is 3 from the bottom. Once you find the Settings button, click on it. At the Settings window, we want to find System, which is all the way to the left. We want to click on System. Now we find About left tab. We hit this About left tab. Here we find the version and OS build. I have OS build 10586. We want at least OS build 14316. If you have a number greater than 14316, then you're all good. This build currently, as of July 24, 2016, is only available via the Insider Preview. To get signed up for the Insider Preview, you have to go open up a browser and search for insider.windows.com. I'll leave a link in the description. Now we have to sign in to our existing Microsoft account. If you don't have a Microsoft account already, you can make one, but I will sign into my Microsoft account right now. By the time this video actually gets viewed, the preview build, which is 14356, I think, will probably be available to everyone, so you can skip these insider build steps. You can check here on this purple link to see how to use the Windows Insider Preview. Here are the text instructions of getting the latest Insider builds, but I'll show you in the video how to get it anyways. The next step is we search for Advanced Update Settings. We find Advanced Windows Update Settings and we just click on it. Once we have this window open, we go below Get Insider Preview. The first time you enable Insider Preview builds, you'll have to restart your computer. You will see something that says Enable Insider Preview Build. I've already clicked on it, so I've already restarted my computer. And after you enable and restart your computer, you can check your Insider level. You can drag the blue cursor all the way to the right so that you can be on the Fast Insider level to get the latest Insider builds. This is only required now because the Windows 10 anniversary update is not available to everyone yet. They're still debugging, they're still testing. We can X out of that window. We will search for updates and find the Check for Updates button. We'll click on Check for Updates. Once this window is open, the first thing that we do is we click on the left tab that says For Developers. Once we click on For Developers, typically the button is set on Side Load Apps. We want it to be on developer mode, so make sure the developer mode circle is filled up. And the next thing that we do is we hit the left tab that's named Window Update. At Windows Update, you will see a Check for Updates button, but you will click the Check for Updates button a few hours later. Basically, what happens is I saw this forum post that said when you check for updates the first time, nothing will happen. But if you wait for a few hours and check for updates again, you will be able to install and download the preview build. If we check for updates after a few hours, I left my computer on, just waited a few hours, went back to check for updates, hit the check for updates button, and I saw the preview build being downloaded. It does not happen immediately. If you turn on Insider Preview, it will not install the Windows 10 Insider Preview immediately. You have to wait a few hours, unfortunately, that's the case. And the download is pretty big. The installation takes a long time. Once the download is finished, you can restart now. But no, this will take a while. So only restart now and install the Windows 10 Preview if you have a lot of time on your hands. If you need your laptop for something else, then it's not advised. Alright, we are restarting our computer. It restarts. This is the first restart for me, by the way. Then, does a little update. Gets to 16%. Restarts again. Then, 30%, it's crawling its way up. Restarts a third time. 75%, it's almost there. And finally, it makes it to 100%. It restarts again after 100%. And once you log into your computer, it says, getting things ready. Please don't turn off your PC. Things will be set up. You have your Windows Preview build. You can see some small things are different. If we hit the start button, go to settings, all of these windows are slightly different. The UI is a little bit different. We will go to system again and confirm at the about left tab that we have the correct OS build. Remember now, we're looking for 14393. And here we have at least 14393. You will probably have a number that is larger than 14393, and that's okay. That means that it is a later update than I have, a more up-to-date update. Next step is we search for Control Panel, we find Programs, we click on Programs, and we find Turn Windows Features on or off. We scroll all the way down until we find the Windows subsystem for Linux. This is how you get Bash on Windows 10. You make sure that's checked off and hit OK. And it will set up the Linux subsystem on Windows. How Bash works on Windows 10 is that a Linux subsystem, an Ubuntu Linux subsystem, is installed and Bash is used via Ubuntu. You will have to restart again for this step. So I just hit the Restart Now button. After restarting, we can search for Bash on the Windows search. Bash, B-A-S-H. After we open it up, it will say, do you wish to continue? And I type Y and hit enter to continue. Now it will download from the Windows Store Bash, and it will put Bash on the Linux subsystem. I'm going to right-click Properties on my terminal window and enlarge it so that you can see what it reads. This is what it looks like. It says downloading from the Windows Store, and you just have to wait until this percentage is 100%. Once you reach 100%, you will be able to type in a Unix username. This username can be anything. It does not have to be the same username that you use for your Windows 10 operating system. Type in a Unix username. It will be used for Bash. I'm going to use Microwave Sam. And you can type in a Unix password. This password can also be anything. And you need to retype that same Unix password. Now Bash is ready. You've set it up. It's installed. You can run a few Bash commands, things that you typically run on a Unix terminal on a Mac or a Linux machine, and things work properly. Now you will be able to access the Linux subsystem, which is Ubuntu, as well as the Windows files. You can switch between the two. If you cd tilde, that's how you go to the Ubuntu side of things. But if you want to get back to Windows side of things, you go to /mount/c/windows. On the bash terminal, you can access anything from Windows on your bash terminal, which is great. This is what you want as a developer and potentially someone who's curious about using the Unix terminal and using it more often on Windows. I was playing around with a few commands, seeing what I could do, but if you've ever used the Ubuntu operating system, anything on Ubuntu, you can do the same thing on this bash shell. The first thing that we'll do is we'll use the package manager app-get to update the sources. You have to type in sudo app-get update and type in your password for your user. Your user will have sudo access, and you will install all the sources, make sure they're updated. Now I will install some packages. To install a new package, you type in sudo app-get install and the name of the packages. In this command, I install a few packages instead of just one. I install Git, Vim, and Tmux. Git is used for code sharing, Vim is a text editor, and Tmux is used for multitasking Windows. It installs with app-get, and it's exactly what you would expect if you had an Ubuntu operating system. You see the same things that you would normally see. And after it's installed, it just sets things up. Now, the only thing about the bash shell is that things outside of the bash shell, let's say you used to use Cygwin, let's say you use command prompt, you cannot access things on the Linux subsystem, on the Ubuntu bash shell, which is unfortunate, but if you're a developer, then you can make the switch to just using the bash shell to access everything on your machine. Basically, how things work is there's Windows 10, then there's the Linux subsystem, which is Ubuntu, then the bash shell is on the Linux subsystem. That's how it works. I test a few commands. I cd to my desktop, my Windows side of things, and use the touch command to create an empty text file called hello-world.txt. This is to demonstrate that on the bash shell, you can still interact with anything on Windows. If you have any binaries, any executables on the Windows side of things, you can run them on bash. That's all there is to the bash shell. Thanks for watching, everyone.